Imagine being fined an amount so big that it doesn't just surpass your wealth, but the wealth of every single person and country in the world combined. Sounds unreal, right? Well, that's exactly what just happened to Google. Stay with us to find out why a Russian court slapped a $20 Decillion fine on Google. Yes, that's a 2, followed by 34 zeros. Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-boggling fines in history. Google, the tech giant we all know, has just been fined a staggering $20 Decillion by a Russian court. That's not just a huge number, it's beyond what the entire planet's wealth could cover. This astronomical fine comes after Google's refusal to unblock certain YouTube channels in Russia. But how did things escalate to such an absurd level? Let's break it down. It all started back in 2020, when YouTube blocked several channels at Russia's request. But as tensions rose, Russia demanded the platform remove more channels linked to pro-Ukrainian voices. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Western tech giants like Google faced massive pressure to remove content supporting the invasion. Russia wasn't pleased, and the Moscow Arbitration Court issued an order to unblock these channels. However, Google stood its ground, and the fine started to grow, with no upper limit. But why such a staggering fine? According to Dmitry Peskov, press secretary for Russian President Vladimir Putin, the fine isn't just about money, it's symbolic, a way of showing Google that Russia isn't backing down. This fine is filled with symbolism, he said. It demonstrates our grievances against Google. But what exactly is at stake? Why is Russia so insistent on having control over YouTube content? To give you an idea of how massive this fine is, let's look at some numbers. The world's total wealth is estimated at about $477 trillion. Google's parent company, Alphabet, is worth around $2 trillion. But this fine is 10 billion trillion times more than that. Even if Google's entire valuation went toward paying this fine, they'd still be nowhere near covering it. Let's put 20 decillion in perspective. It's such a large number that, if written out, it's a 2 followed by 34 zeros. That's bigger than the number of grains of sand on Earth. And it's growing every day that Google doesn't comply. In fact, it might eventually reach a Google. Yes, the mathematical term that inspired Google's name, a 1 followed by 100 zeros. Russia's crackdown on Western social media platforms didn't start with Google alone. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram faced restrictions or outright bans after the Ukraine invasion. Russia claims these platforms spread anti-Russian sentiments and restrict content favorable to the country's policies. While YouTube is still accessible in Russia, experts say it's slowing down significantly, and some even report complete outages. But how much of this is due to state censorship? In 2022, Google's Russian subsidiary filed for bankruptcy after its assets were seized by the state. By that point, Google had effectively left Russia. Yet its platform, YouTube, remained one of the few Western channels still operating. Despite facing immense pressure, Google has continued to block Russian media accounts. And now, with this new record-breaking fine, the company's defiance seems to have reached a new level. This isn't the first time a government has clashed with big tech. Around the world, countries have pushed back against tech giants over data privacy, misinformation, and monopolistic practices. Just recently, the EU fined Amazon $1 billion for alleged privacy violations, and India imposed hefty penalties on Google for monopolizing its search engine. But Russia's case stands out because of the sheer scale of the fine. Is this a warning to other tech giants? If Google complies with Russia's demands, it may face backlash from users and governments worldwide for bowing to censorship. But if it doesn't, could we see a full ban on Google and YouTube in Russia? This fine could signal a shift in how big tech handles international disputes, particularly in authoritarian regions. How Google and other tech companies respond will likely set a precedent. So what happens now? Google hasn't responded to this fine, but given its astronomical size, it's likely they won't take it seriously. For now, it appears more symbolic than anything. However, the implications are real, and the tension between Russia and Western tech companies isn't going away anytime soon. This unprecedented fine marks a new chapter in the ongoing battle between tech giants and governments. Will Google stand its ground, or will we see a shift in how tech companies operate under international pressure? Only time will tell. Make sure you're subscribed to stay updated on the latest in tech news. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Google should give in or stand firm?